So do you have a little bit of space but want a ton of storage? Well, check this out. So I love small organizing totes anywhere around my workshop. I actually have these under all of my workbenches. So whenever I saw that these 6.5 quart boxes were getting extremely popular, I had to build a unit for it. And this thing solves a ton of problems. Not only can you fit 36 bins in just 6 square feet, but instead of throwing everything into large black totes where you eventually have no clue what's in it and you still have to dig around for whatever you want, with something like this, you can see exactly what you have at a glance. And of course, whenever I was designing this, I had to throw my twist to it. And that's whenever I decided that my organizer would swivel and double the space. And a long time ago, I said that I would never build anything else for my shop that wasn't mobile. So I designed this to have a mobile base. So if you can see something like this in your garage, your workshop, any place that you would like to organize, and you would like to learn how to build this, well, that's what we're going to be doing in today's video. Are you ready? Let's hop into it. So I've got my supplies gathered up and my super elaborate 3D renderings of what we're about to build. Yeah, this is how I start all of my projects. So I'll be starting off by cutting my legs to length. And we're going to be needing 6 of these at 68 inches. Just make sure to pick out some nice straight material for these legs. And then let's go ahead and cut the parts that we need for our base. I'm going to be needing 4 boards that are 34 inches long for our base front, and 6 boards that are 18.5 inches long for our base sides and middle. And then we'll head over to the table saw to cut our support strips. And as always, I'll be teaching you step by step on how to build this project. But if you're a plans in the hand type of person, I've got you covered. I built my entire plan library around something that I call Lego plans. That means exploded views, x-ray views, and clear diagrams for every single step. With over 11,000 5-star reviews, these plans have helped thousands of people of every skill level build successfully. So if you're interested in the easiest plans on the internet to build from, head over to my website. I'll make sure to throw a link in the description. And as usual, I've started out by cutting the edge off, just to give me a nice square surface to run against my fence. And cut 7 strips that are 1 inch thick by 8 foot long. Now obviously you can use 2x4s for this, but it's probably a little bit cheaper to throw in a 2x6. I'll leave that up to you. Okay, so now that I have my support strips ripped down, let's go and get these cut to size. I'll be using our 8-foot strips to cut 36 parts that are 18.5 inches long. Now with my 36 supports cut, or rails actually makes more sense, it's really whatever you'd like to call them. Let's go ahead and pre-drill and countersink all of these boards so that they're ready to assemble. And for this, I'll measure from the end and mark it 3/4 of an inch and 2 3/4. And then to find my center, I'll measure 3/4 of an inch from the side. And I'm going to do this for both of my ends. And if you're using a pre-drill countersink bit like mine, and would like to save a little time, put an extra board under the one that you just marked before you drill. That way, whenever we make this first pre-drill, it will leave holes on the board underneath where your next countersink needs to go. And if you keep repeating this process, you only have to measure 1 board. And the reason why we're pre-drilling and counterboring all of these is because the material is thinner and the screw placement will be close to the ends. If we don't do this and really tighten these things down, it's going to split the wood. Okay, so now that we have our parts cut, we have our rails pre-drilled, let's go ahead and start putting this thing together. Now here's an optional step that you can do, and I'll probably end up doing it myself. That's going to be to stain any of these parts. I think for now I'll just be staining these rails because I have an idea on how to dress these things up a bit once we get these frames done. But if you don't care about staining, painting, anything like that, then we'll just move on to the next step. So the first thing that I'm going to do for assembly is to make my tops and bottoms. Once we get these done, these will be what the legs will attach to. The top and bottom will be made the exact same way, and for each one we'll be needing 2 of our front boards and 3 of our side boards. Then I'll put a side board in between our front and back boards on each end. Then for our center board placement, it needs to be 16 3/4 from the outside edge to the outside edge, and make a mark on the top and bottom boards. This will be where our third side board would go. And anytime that I can, I like to pre-start my screws before putting my material into place. Now that we have this laid out, I'll attach all of our side boards to our front and back boards using 2 1/4 inch screws. Now, if you'd like to pre-drill and counterbore these, it'll actually look a lot better and you won't have to worry about cracking a board, but I'll leave that up to you. So once we have 2 of these made, I'm going to go ahead and put a piece of plywood or OSB on top. This is going to help to lock everything together. Plus, if you end up making this to where it would turn with a Lazy Susan swivel, then it's going to give you a flat plate to work off of. You'll see what I'm talking about here in a bit. And the plywood piece that you'll need to fit perfectly over this is 21.5 by 34 inches. I'll just set it right on top and lock everything down with some 1¼ inch screws. And to make sure that my screws end up in the center of my board, I'm just going to mark 3/4 inch from my edge. So the next step is going to be attaching our rails, which as you can see I went ahead and stained, to our legs. And essentially we're going to be making 3 different rail assemblies. And each one of these assemblies will be made up of 2 of these legs. So we'll have 1 on each end and 1 in the center. For the assemblies on the ends, we'll just be putting our rails all the way up on one side. Now the center assembly, we're going to do that a little bit different. Let me show you what I mean. Okay, so let's go ahead and start off by making our 2 end assemblies. And what I've done here on my workbench, just cut a couple of pieces of our 1-inch material just to make a square stopping point here on my bench. Now there's 100 different ways that you can do this, but this is pretty easy. And they'll sit in there just like this. But before we actually install the rails, let's go and get our spacing marked out. So for this step, just take a couple of pieces of your scrap 2x4 and cut 2 5¼ inch spacers. This is going to save you a lot of time on measurements. And then to install our first rail, let's measure up 8.5 inches from the bottom of our legs. Now notice that I said bottom. I'm going to go ahead and mark these with a bead just so I remember. Now let's install our first rail by lining it up on our marks and using 2-inch screws. After you get your first screw in, just use a speed square to make sure everything is true. Now with our first rail in, we'll use our 5¼ inch spacers to install the rest. We'll be attaching 9 rails to this outer assembly. Alright, so now that we have our first end assembly done, let's go ahead and make another one just like it. So at this point I've made 2 of these assemblies and I'm working on the third. Now for this third one, or the center assembly, the only thing different that we'll have to do is to flip it over once all of your rails are on one side and install rails on the back. That's it. Alright, so now with all of our different leg assemblies made up, let's go and start putting all of this together. With the rails and my 2 outside assemblies facing in, I'm going to slide the bottoms of each one into my base. And then to make sure everything's level, I'm just going to take those 5¼ inch spacers that I was using and put them under the tops of the rail. Now with both legs into my base, let's go and attach these to our base using 2¼ inch screws. And now with our 2 outside assemblies installed, let's go ahead and install the center. Okay, so whenever you install this center section, based on the 16¼ inch measurement that we use to place our center board, the center board is not actually placed in the center so that we can allow room for this to fit in and actually be in the center. So just keep in mind whenever you go to install this that it actually has to go on the side with the largest spacing. Once we have this center assembly in place, we'll attach it to our base from the inside. Now that we have our 3 rail assemblies attached to our base, I'm just going to spin this around and install our top. All right, so this is where we're at right now, and I think it looks pretty awesome. And honestly, you could end this project here, put this in a corner up against the wall, however that you would like, and it would be perfect. But what I was thinking is if I could put this thing on wheels and also make it to where it would spin, that would be super awesome. Let me show you what I'm thinking about. So building the base to make this thing swivel is going to be pretty easy because it's all the same size parts that we used earlier to build the top and the bottom. So you'll start off with the front and back two boards that are 34 inches long. Then you'll need 3 of these ends and center boards that are 18.5 inches. The exact same parts that we needed to build the tops and bottoms. Before we install this center board, go ahead and put on your plywood top or bottom. Now this one's going to be 1/2 inch larger on each side because I want it to overhang some plywood strips. You'll see where that comes in here shortly. So basically you're going to need a 35-inch by 22.5-inch piece of plywood. And then the main thing that you're going to be needing is one of these. And this is a Lazy Susan swivel thingy. Not sure exactly what they're called, but looks like a frisbee. I picked this up on Amazon. This is a 12-inch Lazy Susan swivel, and I think it was like 10 or 12 bucks. Not really for sure, but I'll make sure to link this one in the description. So I'll actually be installing this on the other side, but I need to go ahead and mark out my 4 center holes. That way I can drill those out for bolts. So I'm just going to center this swivel up on the inside. So once I have this centered on all 4 sides, I'm going to make sure that my screw holes won't fall on the center support. We need to be able to get to it from the underneath. So I'm going to turn this at a bit of an angle. Then with my center support in place, I can still get to all 4 of my holes. Okay, so now that I have those marked out, I'm going to go ahead and pre-drill these holes. Now that we have our 4 holes pre-drilled, let's go and install our center board. It needs to be 16 3/4 from the outside edge to the outside edge. Okay, so I went ahead and took 4 1/4-inch bolts, about 1 inch long, to line this up on the bottom of this shelf. I'm just going to stick these bolts in the holes that we just drilled. And again, we're not going to be fastening this down just yet. I just want to get the exact measurements from this. So now that I have those measurements, I can take this off and we can go ahead and get it installed. Now at this point, I'm going to install 2 more boards that are 18.5 on the inside of our bottom. These can sit flat against our center board and our leg. Basically, these are going to be blocking boards so that our swivel screws have something to seat into. And once we have those slid into place, I'll lock them down with a couple of screws from the bottom. And now it's time to install the swivel. With your bolts already in place and the distance needed from the top and side edges already marked, let's go ahead and lock these down using 1 1/4 inch screws. Now let's line up our base, slide our base over our bolt, then we'll lock this down using washers and nuts. I was going to use lock nuts for this, but the bolt head would spin. So instead I'll tighten each nut. Then I'll place a lock nut on top to lock everything down. Okay, so now that we have our swivel installed, let's go ahead and make this thing mobile and put our casters on. If we install these casters the way that everything is right now, we'll have one hole that's not tied into anything. So to fix that, let's go ahead and add a 4-inch block to each corner. And since our blocks are pretty short, make sure to pre-drill and countersink each one. If you're going to be putting your unit in one spot and not moving it, well, you won't need casters. But for my shop, I decided long ago that I will not put anything else in here unless it's on wheels. I'm using 3-inch casters. Just make sure that the ones that you choose are rated for the weight that you're going to be adding to it. Then for the times that you do not want this to swivel, just drill a 1/4 inch hole into the floor and drop in a 1/4 inch bolt. All right. So this is where we're at, and this thing is super cool. I am loving it. Now that's cool. Can't wait to get our boxes all put in. But before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and trim this thing out with some plywood. Now again, this is completely optional, completely up to you, but I'm kind of curious to see what it would look like. To start with, I'm going to enclose the sides. For this, I'll be using 2 boards that are 18.5 by 61 inches. And then to fasten my trim pieces, I'm just going to be using crown staples. You can also use screws or brad nails. To trim out our tops and bottoms, we'll be needing 4 boards that are 4 inches by 21.5 inches long. And then for our base, we'll be needing 2 boards that are 3.5 by 21.5 inches long. Now for our front and back trim, we'll need 4 boards that are 4 inches by 35 inches for our tops and bottoms. And then for our base, we'll need 2 boards that are 3.5 by 35 inches. And then to finish this up, I'll be using 2-inch strips to cover all of our exposed edges on the front and back, and 1.5-inch strips to cover our edges. Alright, so you're ready to see how this thing turned out? It's awesome. Check it out. Now that is what I call storage. So as you can see, I decided just to put a stain on the outside of this, and I think that it looks really good. So all in all, this mobile unit holds 36 different bins, which would make it perfect for everything. So I'm seeing something like this, like in a craft room, a bedroom, of course, a garage, workshop, closet, you name it. And I hope that you have enjoyed this video and you've gotten some ideas from this for yourself. But the main thing that I want you to take away from this is dream things up and then turn them into reality. This all started off as just sketches on a piece of notebook paper, and you see how it turned out. So you know exactly what time it is and what to do. Get up, get out, and get your build on. Till next time, we'll see you. Imagine taking a pile of wood and turning it into something amazing. Now, imagine doing that without years of frustration. You do not need a fancy workshop, expensive tools, or years of experience. With Woodworking Kickstart, you'll build confidence and real skills in no time. So you can spend years making mistakes and learning the hard way like I did, or you can start building with confidence today. So join me in Woodworking Kickstart and let's get your journey started.